So you think you're right?
Yeah.
That you truly believe that you are right in your statement?
Yeah, because I didn't do anything wrong. At least not ethically.
How? It's completely unethical.
How is
what
it
you did.
completely unethical?
You don't go around sleeping with people's friends.
How do
you
I
just
know?
can't do that.
Listen,
Even
one,
if no.
you're not even
No.
saying, listen, one, we're not even dating, and two, just she's your friend. She has her own life outside of yours.
You shouldn't have done it.
How come I shouldn't have done it?
Because she was my friend.
So what if you...
Did you know these Jerry Springer moments can be avoided?
It's true. All you have to do is understand morality, what it is, where it comes from, and how to apply it to your everyday conflicts.
In Jonathan Haidt's new book, The Righteous Mind, Why Good People Are Divided by Religion and Politics, or as we call it, the Communication Handbook,
Haidt uses the book to explain why it's so hard for people to communicate with one another.
and why we can't get along.
Human nature is not just intrinsically moral, it's intrinsically moralistic, critical, and judgmental. Or so Haidt says.
This is a communication handbook because it sketches out the tools that we need to communicate effectively with one another. Morality, as he sketches it out, comes from 3 different places: nature, nurture, and experience.
Nature is something that's prescribed. It's in your brain before you're born, and everybody has it. Nurture is you developed as your parents teach you. And experience is when the other kids on the playground help teach you what morality is.
Moral judgments are not subjective. Getting to the truth of the matter is insanely difficult, if not impossible. So when it comes down to it, understanding people's elephants can help people see eye to eye. That doesn't mean people have to agree. They just have to find a common ground to agree with each other, to disagree.
Haidt uses the phrases elephants and riders to help explain what is going on in our minds when we make moral decisions. He says that the elephant is your intuition, your gut feeling, what happens when something goes right or goes wrong, and it helps you identify whether it's right and whether it's wrong. Your rider is more like your reasoning skills, what it takes to kind of figure out why something is right or why something is wrong. Elephants are huge and out of control.
Jonathan Haidt gives us a model to explain what happens when should happen. In this model, there's a triggering event. Triggers someone's intuition or their gut feeling, and then they make their judgment and they reason.
Well, when somebody makes a judgment call like that, it's often helpful if they communicate it with somebody else. So another person can come in and either influence the judgment or the reasoning of person A, or vice versa. Person A can influence the reasoning or judgment of person B. It works both ways. Either way, you start with a gut feeling, you make a judgment, and then you come up with some kind of reasoning. It happens every time shit happens.
And sometimes, less often, there's always a private reflection point where maybe you make your judgment, but you go back and think about it later, and you change your judgment or your intuition on how you felt on the topic in the first place, due to either your own reflection or someone else's input.
So let's put this into context. What happened when Stephanie and Laquan had their altercation? Well, let's start out. Stephanie found out that Laquan was sleeping with her friend after they broke up. So that's your triggering event.
Her intuition is disgust. Her gut feeling is, oh my God, he is so disgusting. And then her judgment is what Laquan did was wrong. She later reasoned it was wrong because they had dated and he slept with one of her friends.
Laquan had a total different intuition. His gut feeling was, it's alright, this sounds like a good idea, we're just gonna have some fun. He really didn't think it through, what the consequences of his actions were. It's okay for him to sleep with whoever he wants.
So they both had a feeling about what was happening. They both made their judgments, and they both had their reasons. In Steph's case, why she was right and he was wrong, and in his case, why she's crazy and he's always right. Neither created a real factual argument as to why they were right or wrong, let alone listen to each other's arguments.
I don't know what they were thinking. If they would have just calmed down, hit the pause button, and kind of reflected on what one another was saying, this might have never happened. Perhaps if Steph just said reason first, or listened to Laquan's reasoning first.
It could have been a conversation, not a confrontation. Communication handbook, they can both take steps to understand what's really going on here. And maybe change their confrontation into that structured conversation that they need so that way they can remain friends even after some testy
Technical,
subjects.
yeah, some difficulties. Each party's goal is to have the other person understand what they're feeling. It's that simple. We just want people to understand where each other are coming from. And hopefully that'll drive a more positive conversation, helping people see better eye to eye.
So back to the elephants. If you can guide someone's elephant down the path of reasoning that you want it to take, you're more likely to have that effective communication that you need.
It's the type of thing that politicians do to gain voters, and they try to appeal to people's elephants all the time. Just take a look at some political ads. And that's it. If you've learned this, then that's all you need. And if it's anything you take away from Ethics 1 this year,
It's that having the tools and reasoning first and making judgments later is exactly what you need to do to have effective communication. Effective communication helps you go places.
knowing how to evaluate people's arguments as well, we'll try to come up with reasonings as to why someone is right or wrong, is the only way to get closer to the truth. We're born to be righteous, but we have to learn exactly what we need to be righteous about.
So let's see how this helped our friends.
So I still think what you did was wrong. And if you still want to be friends, you can't be going around sleeping with my friends.
I guess you're right. You know, you're entitled to your opinion on the matter, and I still think that what I do in my spare time in my son's life is not any of your business. But I can understand why you'd be upset though, because yeah, we did have something special a while ago,